Hi, and welcome to Danya's channel. This is the very first YouTube channel that he's ever done, so we're excited about this. This is the premiere episode, episode 1. We're going to be talking about the XP pen tonight. My name is Jason Weiser, and this is...
My name is Russell Weiser. I'm 13, and I want to see what I can do on this artist tablet.
I think he's doing a great job so far, and our little helper today is...
Jan Weiser.
This is Jan. So the three of us, we're going to see what we can do, and this is more for a personal diary, but if you do like the video, obviously like and subscribe, and we'll have a lot more fun videos to document Donnie's journey through a 13-year-old learning how to use a pen tablet for the very first time. So first of all, let's look at the pen tablet in question that we're talking about. So right here, we just got the XP Pen Artist Pro 15.6, and what's your first initial thought of this? Do you think it's a fun little tablet, or?
So when I first saw the tablet under my desk, I was really excited for it. But once I opened it up, I was a lot more excited about it. Once I actually took my pen, which again feels amazing with where it has placed the two buttons. This tablet is extremely easy to work on. The red dial allows me to extremely easily and simply change my brush settings, how close I'm zoomed in, and a lot more features that just make it extremely easy to draw.
A couple of things that we learned out about the XP Pen right off the bat. We were concerned that the 15.9 was maybe a little bit too big. It's not very portable, so make sure that you understand that you're going to want to have a stationary place for it. Also, the other thing is we realized it has to be plugged into a good computer. His computer just wasn't quite strong enough for it.
No.
We do have Adobe Illustrator, Adobe Photoshop, and but your first time working with it, I think you did pretty good.
When I first put my pen to the tablet, it was after a little bit of making sure that the cursor showed up underneath my pen and not solely to the side. I did a little bit of calibration, but after a while, it was really nice to work with and was extremely easy for me to move from traditional art, where I was usually into, to my now digital art.
Yeah, so so instead of just drawing on a piece of paper, it felt like a piece of paper. You're saying, yeah,
yeah.
Okay, so Danya's gonna let's just walk through real quickly. We don't want to make a huge long video, but we do want to show very first attempt. You've had this thing for 24 hours, maybe.
Pretty much.
Have you ever had a pen tablet before in your life?
I've used my grandma's iPad, but that was pretty hard to use as the actual tablet piece didn't quite match up.
Okay, so we started out with, and now oftentimes you see people, they will do a Photoshop or a scan of like a drawing, and then they put the drawing underneath and they copy over top of it. Did you do that or no?
No, I didn't.
You just started right on the pen tablet itself?
Yes, I wanted to feel it out for first impressions.
Spend a little while learning your pen tools and whatnot. Are you an expert in Photoshop?
Not at all.
How long have you used Photoshop?
Oh my goodness, I'd say 13 net hours in my life.
Yeah, he's really never used Photoshop before. And then the point of that is that it's so intuitive. I mean, there's a lot of buttons and there's a lot of things that could get really confusing, but just get in there and start pushing buttons. Okay, let's see what happened. This is his very first attempt at doing it. So what we started out with is you dropped down a background layer, and then talk us through what happened here.
So I started with the background layer, and I moved on to making new layers. I start out at layer 1. This is where I let down my first outline, and I set down really light lines. And once I was happy with what my basic draft looked like, I dimmed it down and moved on to the next layer.
You dimmed it down using the opacity, which is why we see this light gray, correct?
Yep.
All right, and then on top of that layer, what did you do?
Then on top of that layer, I took a slightly darker gray and I went over it, traced it, and I turned it off and on. I zoomed in on some parts, zoomed out on some parts to make sure that the proportions looked good during this stage.
Yeah, so this is really interesting how you did this, how you used your bottom layer to, what is this style of art? What do you call this sort of stuff?
So this is pretty much a manga style. So this right here is, they call it the manga skeleton, or the basic structure of the human body. He's
been reading a lot of books on how to draw manga, and he's been doing it on paper and pencil for a long time. And so we figured for his 13th birthday, let's encourage this talent, and I think you can see why. So here we have this, and then what's the next layer? Are we ready to show the next layer?
Yeah, so then I decided that I was pretty good with my with how my anatomy looked. So I moved on to putting down some clothing on this character and cleaning up the line work, making the hair shine out. And this is where I messed up a little bit. I forgot to put the hairline, shirt, face, and these different parts on different layers, and I ended up with this mess, and that's why you can see areas where there is light marks.
So let's talk about that for a minute. It's very important that you separate out your layers, because if something happens, like right here, he can only erase that layer or that layer right there. Of course, you can merge the two layers together, and neither one of us are Photoshop experts. I use Photoshop in my web business, doing web development, but I'm not an artist, and I'm an illustrator or cartoonist. So we're both kind of learning this together. The point is, buy yourself a 13-year-old, or buy your 13-year-old a pen tablet, and let him just try it, and you'll be impressed with what happens. Now, what do we have here?
So then I moved on to, I took out the bottom layers and I started adding shadowing to the hair. And yeah, here's where I messed up again. I am not very good with where I set down my layers. And so next time I would really hope to add my shadows on individual layers of the individual body parts, so it's easier to get around them.
But all in all, I am just super impressed with what you came up with, and you've spent probably about 12 hours.
Pretty much.
Well, since you got it, right?
Yeah.
Your birthday was yesterday afternoon, and you've been on this thing nonstop to the point where you had to say, Danya, go to bed. But I tell you what, as a parent, I would much rather have my kid sitting here playing on this XP pen than playing Minecraft or other video games. I'm confident that this is going to set you up for life, and I'm excited to see where you go as an artist. So thank you, everybody, for just taking a few minutes to spend this time with us and enjoy. And our little manga character, what's our little manga character's name? Does he have a name yet?
Not really, but I think Chris works for him.
Chris. Okay, so in very typical Chris fashion, here we all are ready to say,
here we are,
for the end of our show. All right, later.
Bye.
Thank you for joining us for episode 1, and look forward to episode 2, where we'll do, I don't know, what?
I don't know, maybe some more drawing? Just
have fun with an XP pen and a 13-year-old and a 9-year-old or 7-year-old. Which is it?
Yeah.
9. Yeah, there you go. All right, bye now. Press like, press subscribe, encourage the 13-year-old on his career path. Bye now.
Thank you.
Bye.